Hey guys, DPG, David Patrick Green here with another rule of acting that I'm of course going to completely dispel. And this is rule number 6. Six en français. Now, before we get to dispelling the rule of why you need an agent, or in my case, why you don't need an agent, please like the video, subscribe to the channel so YouTube knows that I have good information, because I know you're all telling me that I have good information, but not enough subscribers. And please share it with your fellow actor, because we all need to help one another. Okay? Get it into your head. The way to become successful is to help others. It's that simple. If you only remember that and you always focus on helping the right people, I can guarantee you right now, money back guarantee, that you will become successful yourself. You won't even have to think of anything else if you just figure out how to serve others. Okay, guys, let's get to the video. How is it possible, David, that I do not need an agent? Everywhere I go, every actor has ever told me, every casting director has told me, every agent has told me. In fact, anybody who isn't even in acting or entertainment says, well, I'm pretty sure you need an agent. So how is it possible that you don't? Well, again, especially in the early stages, because many of these rules, I'm not going to say they are rules, but some of these things we're talking about could become useful down the road. Just like if you're starting a business, eventually you may want an assistant to help you with certain things. But in the beginning stages, your primary chances for success are based on two simple things. One, can you act at all? And you don't need to be Marlon Brando or Meryl Streep or Denzel Washington or Viola Davis, okay? You just need to be competent. And two, does anyone know you exist? Okay, because if nobody knows you exist, it doesn't matter how good you are. In fact, it's better if you know people than that you're good. And that may sound crazy, but it's 100% true, because the first thing people do when they go to hire people is think of who do they know first. Then they ask everybody that they know, and only after all other options are exhausted will they consider even remotely wanting to go out to the internet to hire people, because it's a nightmare. Would you want to look at 1,000 auditions or go through 1,000 submissions? No. Okay, so here's why you don't need an agent. Because an agent actually gets in the way of relationships, especially in the beginning. And if you think, well, that sounds challenging, how am I supposed to get auditions without an agent? And that's the point. You've got to figure it out. You've got to figure out how to get auditions and not leave it up to somebody else. Because if you get creative and you figure it out, and you figure out how to meet producers, directors, casting directors, anybody who's in the entertainment business. Frankly, one of my most successful clients ever, who has worked in countless blockbuster movies and major TV shows, knew one single person in Los Angeles before they arrived in town, and that person was in special effects. And based on that one relationship, he was able to book role after role after role in huge blockbuster movies, working with some of the biggest stars in the business. That's all he needed, was one single relationship, and he just knew, well, he didn't know, I taught him how to turn that relationship into acting jobs, okay? So it doesn't really matter. The fact that it's difficult is on your side. It's in your favor, because when something is difficult, very few people will attempt it. So if you simply go, well, David says I need to develop some relationships. He didn't tell me how to do it, so that means I got to figure it out. Well, then ask yourself how you would meet anybody in any field, right? Like if you want to meet a race car driver, what would you do? You'd go to the track. You would contact his management company. You would look him up on social media. You would find out if he had a website. You would just start thinking, right? If it was life or death, most of you would just go, I would ask you, David. Right? You might not get creative, but you've got to get creative. You guys want to be in a creative business, and You're not thinking creatively. So you need to learn to think creatively so that you can meet these people and then share the value that you have. But you don't need a lot of value. Honestly, if they just like you as a person, they will give you opportunities. And then, either you're right for the part or you're not, but you will get the opportunities if you know people. So that is why in the early stages, having an agent is a bad thing because it prevents you from developing relationships. And relationships are everything in the entertainment business, as in any business, but they really matter in the entertainment business because of the way it works. It's not a 9-to-5 type of business. People are always relying on who they know. Hey, I need somebody to do this right now. Gosh, let me call so-and-so. Hey, can you do this? You're busy? Oh, do you know anyone else? Oh, you do? Great. Can you send me their number or have them call me or, whatever? So it's a very, very relationship-focused business. And often there's not a lot of time to find the best person. So anybody that, somebody else said can do the job is going to get the job. And that applies to acting as well. I can't even tell you how many times I've got repeated roles on the same show because they don't want to hire somebody new. Or I've been offered a role on an X-Men movie because I had worked with the producer or the director in the past and they just didn't want to go through the whole casting process. And I don't even know if that's true. I just know they handed me the job. So I'm assuming they preferred hiring me to going through that casting process. Okay? So guys, trust me in this. You do not need an agent ever, but it can come in handy to have somebody to do some paperwork and, do the online submissions once you've built up a resume and you have a reputation in the business and people can see from your resume that you have, done certain things and they just become familiar with you. And then an agent doesn't really have to do much because they can't do much and they won't do much. That's the other part of having an agent. But they won't do a lot. They just sort of do the basics, submit you online, not much differently than you would submit yourself online. And they hope that whoever's on the other end thinks you're a good choice for the part. So that's all I got for you. If you like the sound of this, even though it may freak you out and scare you a little, if you want to develop yourself into a professional actor or frankly anything else, then get in touch. DPG at davidpatrickgreen.com or david@hackhollywood.com. And maybe we can talk and, maybe I can figure out how we can work together. But otherwise, if I've sparked a few ideas in your head and maybe I've answered some questions you had, or maybe this has created more questions than answers, put it in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of what I've just said. Am I insane? Am I brilliant? Are you confused or are you clear now? And put them in the comment section. Otherwise, contact me at dpg@davidpatrickgreen.com. And I'll talk to you soon.